Welcome to the Godot BootCamp lesson on anonymous authentication. You'll want to use anonymous authentication in your game or app when you don't want to bother the user with a login screen but still have access to brainCloud features. On the design portal, click the question mark in the top right corner. From the drop-down list, click API reference. The API reference is a great source of information. It contains all the requests that the brainCloud client can make. On the left, navigate to the brainCloud wrapper's authenticate anonymous request. Scroll down and you'll notice that there's a source code sample for each request in the API reference. The source code sample even allows you to change the programming language that you are using. Below that, click the JSON response. This is an example of the data that gets returned on a successful authentication response. We're ready to write some source code. Open Visual Studio Code and navigate to the network.cs file. Declare a pair of public delegates. These delegates will be used to handle the authentication response. Scroll down and find the isAuthenticated method. In the body, return the brainCloud client's authenticated state. Below that, declare a public method called authenticate anonymous. This method will make the brainCloud authenticate anonymous request. In the body of the method, declare a lambda to handle a successful authenticate anonymous response. In the body of the lambda, log a successful message along with the response data, and if the completed callback delegate is not null, it will be invoked. Next, declare failure lambda to handle a failed authenticate anonymous response. In the body of the lambda, log an error message, and if the failed callback delegate is not null, it will be invoked. Make the brainCloud authenticate anonymous request, passing in the success and failure callback lambdas as arguments. Save the file and then navigate to the game.cs script. In the game class, we need to invoke the network's authenticate anonymous method and handle the response. Below the game's process method, declare a public method called onAuthenticationRequestCompleted. This method will be invoked on a successful authentication request. We will be covering how to handle a failed authentication request in an upcoming lesson. On a successful authentication request, we'll simply hide the connecting dialog and then display the main menu. Above this method, we're going to declare a public method called handleAuthentication. This method will change and evolve a lot in upcoming lessons as we learn about different types of authentication. Right now though, this method will only show the connecting dialog and invoke the network's authenticate anonymous method, passing in the onAuthenticationRequestCompleted method as the argument. Scroll up and find the ready method. Delete the two highlighted statements, and in their place invoke the handleAuthentication method instead. Save the file, and then navigate to the brainCloud dialog.cs file. Scroll down and find the onLogin button clicked method. Delete the to-do comment, and in its place, hide the dialog, then invoke the game's handleAuthentication method. Save the file, and then compile the code. If the code compiled successfully, open the Godot editor. Run the game. The connecting screen was displayed, followed by the main menu. Notice an output log in the output window that indicates that the authentication anonymous request was successful. We now have an active brainCloud session and are ready to make additional brainCloud requests. Universal authentication is the next lesson in the Godot BootCamp.